Hi, my name is Tania. I'm your inner soul guide and founder here at Museflower Retreat and Spa, and I'm here to help you to get in touch with your soul. And so in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 3-step process to listen to our hearts better. So this is related to our current lunar cycle theme, which is the theme is heart. And if you haven't checked out my card reading video, I will leave it in the card and also in the link below as well. So the question that I've been thinking a lot during this lunar cycle, which is the question I also asked in the card reading, is how can we listen to our hearts better? So instead of sharing as top 3 tips, I'm going to show you the 3-step process of how I do that, how I listen to my heart, and to share this practice with you, and hopefully you can also try it out and see if that works for you. So also this video is part of the 12 Cycle of Soulful Magic video, an online wellness project to help you to connect with your inner light. So videos like this one, free guided meditations, mindful movements, and also a card reading video as well to help support you in each lunar cycle. So if you like, you can subscribe and stay updated. We post a new video every Friday, Saturday, and so you can get updated on our newest video. So let's get started with our 3-step process on how to listen to your heart better. Now in this case, when I say heart, I mean the energy center of the heart. And why is it important to listen to our heart? Because this is where our soul and the divine part of ourselves resides. So the divine part of ourselves, you can say, or in this case, I'm going to call it the spirit. So soul and spirit are different. And I believe that this is where, our soul and our spirit, just divine part of ourselves, reside in our heart. So there's this wisdom inside our heart that knows why we're here. By listening to our heart, we can gain clarity of, what our true purpose here is on earth. And so once we know the purpose, we know what we really need to prioritize in our lives and what's really important. We can really choose to how we're responding to the world instead of just reacting, and how we can really live consciously with meaning in our lives. Also, listening to our heart doesn't mean that we allow our emotions to guide us. Instead, there's this awareness, like I said, this wisdom and this awareness that we actually allow our intuition to guide us, not our impulse, right? So our intuition to guide us. And again, that's how we can really just be living with awareness, living with consciousness, and our hearts and our mind and our soul can be aligned because what we're doing, our action, is aligned with what our truest, deepest calling from our heart is. All right, so step number 1 is to turn down all distractions around you. So imagine your soul is whispering to you, and how would that sound like, right? A lot of people describe that whisper as really, this tiny, small, quiet voice, inside. And it's quiet because we're not really trained to listen to this voice since we're young. And because it's so quiet, we really need to turn off all the distractions around us because we're constantly bombarded by noises. So for example, noises that we can control to turn off, maybe, your phone, for example, like watching, if you watch TV or news, listen to the radio. So just turn off all those noises, or, having conversation with people. If you want to take the time to listen to your heart, you really have to step away from this kind of social environment and just kind of have to come within. So that's the external noises that's outside of you. And then when you're into this space, when you're ready to connect with your heart space, it's also time to turn down. I can't say turn off. We can't turn off everything from our mind, but to turn down the volume, like that's all the distractions and noises inside our head, besides our soul's whisper. So for example, maybe our inner critic voice inside us, telling us like, what are you doing? Why are you taking time, wasting this time to do this? Just imagine you're really holding space for your best friend. Now, hold space means to hold a kind, be kind, non-judgmental space, and just really listen and be open. And you're holding space for your best friend, which is your heart, right? A really great tip is just really simply move yourself into a physical space where it can be like just really quiet and you can be alone for a while. That's the best thing. The next best thing, maybe if you can't turn off all the noises around you, maybe you can put on a headphone, Close your eyes is always also a really great idea, just to, you know, because we're not distracted by the visuals, we're turning a gaze inward. Now, once you have turned off all the distractions around you, or at least turned down the volume, the step number 2 is to drop into your heart space, which is the most important part of this process. And the way how we do it, of course, you know me, I'm gonna say meditation is really the one best way, easiest way, simplest way to drop into the heart space. But I'll say that also, I think that physical exercises, you know, like yoga, tai chi, or even if you're working out, you know, it provides a great gateway for you to really get out of your mind. There's also other activities that I have personally enjoyed, for example, like a labyrinth walk or a tea ceremony or just journaling or any kind of like nourishing activities for yourself that you can really get out of your mind, and through that activity, you know, you're coming into your body, coming into your heart space even more. For example, like go back to the physical exercise example, after you work out, but make sure you have this quiet time afterwards, you know, like your body's really tired and your mind just kind of like switch off, you know what I mean? The thoughts kind of start to just be quiet down, and that's when it's really great to connect to your heart space. There's also a really great meditation from Greg Braden. So he's a really famous author and researcher on spiritual science. I have talked about his meditation. It's called 2-step meditation, a quick coherence technique. I think that's what he called it, to really quickly align your heart and your mind. It's so easy, and whenever I follow this meditation, just instantly brings me into a heart space. So I will leave the link of his meditation below, and I highly recommend you check it out. Of course, you can also check out our other meditations in this channel as well. Now, step number 3 is to trust your heart's guidance and act on it. Now that you have paid attention, you may have heard your soul whisper speaking to you. Maybe it's just like a word, a simple phrase. Maybe, you know, some people they don't hear anything. They just see kind of images coming into your mind. For some people, they may not see or hear anything, but maybe you might just get a feeling in your body, sensation or deep sense of knowing. Just know that there's always like how your heart or your soul is speaking to you. It's different for each person. I personally feel, for me, the hardest part is actually to act on it. So there's so many times in my life that, you know, I've heard what my heart said and I started to have doubts, like my mind started to creep and it's like, is that really what I heard is true? So I start to like doubt anything that I've heard. And I feel like that is okay too, because, you know, like I said, since young, we're not trained to listen to our hearts or our intuition. We've never been taught classes on that, how to do it. We've just been trained to listen to our mind. When this happens, it's totally fine to find confirmation in the external world. And that's when I ask the universe, I pray to the universe, and I said, please just show me a sign if this is what you want me to do, or, you know, this is what my soul is guiding me to do. Now, speaking of signs, it's very different for each person. I think I have mentioned in my previous video, but for me, what happens is usually maybe I have this kind of nudging feeling in my heart, and or just thought like just keep on going my mind and to kind of like just push me how to do it. That could be one. Another one could be like I will pick a card and the card just exactly reconfirms like the message you know, that I've got through my meditation. Sometimes also could be like just other people overhearing what other people saying, and that's completely like related to like what's going on in my life, but they have no idea. It just reconfirms again everything. So these are like the signs of the universe. It is really a practice to learn to trust your heart's guidance and to act on it. And once we act on it, you can see what happens in your life, or when you don't trust your heart guidance and what happens in your life, right? Because, you know, what kind of unfolds from there becomes this evidence for your mind to see, oh, actually, if I trusted myself, or maybe because I didn't trust myself, this had happened. So, you know, this is really an evidence, you know, your mind really needs to say, oh, actually, I can trust my heart's guidance. You know, again, it also comes down to, we never know what is like the right answer until we really do it. And I feel there's really no right or wrong, really. It's really just everything are, you know, it's just here for us to grow and learn as a soul, right? Or as a spiritual being. When I really act on my heart's guidance, there's a really feeling of, maybe it doesn't make sense logically, but there's a feeling that I know I'm doing the right thing, or I am on the right path, you know. And I think that's just really what matters. Is it's not about right for anyone else outside, you know, around you. It's really just about being right, feeling right for yourself. And that's just really what matters. So here are my 3-step process to help to listen to your heart better. It is really simple, these steps to follow, but you know, you really have to commit and take the time to do it actually. And you know, for anybody who meditate, I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. So you know, the process doesn't even have to take long. I'll say, you know, a good 15-20 minutes, but you know, if you have a time that you don't have to rush through and just really take this time to drop into heart space, that is great. The more practice we do, the better we get at it, the more quickly we can connect to our heart space. And so also, speaking of heart, I want to let you know that we have an upcoming new workshop coming in July 10 to 11, 2021. It's called Let Love Shine Through Grief. It's an online weekend workshop for 2 days, 3 hours on each day, and it's going to be facilitated by my dear friend and mentor Dorinda Berry and me. So Dorinda, she's a well-being coach and mentor based in New Zealand. She's also my Reiki and energy healing teacher when she was living in Thailand before. In this workshop, we'll be sharing tools to help you to move through grief. Now, grief here, it could be, of course, something traumatic, huge that has happened. You have lost somebody to death. But it also can be something like a feeling of you have lost just a feeling of connection to yourself, right? It can also be that there's changes and transition going on in your life, or you're feeling stuck and you don't know why. These are kind of all like symptoms of grief, really. And so I really invite you to check out our workshop. For the first day, day 1 of the workshop is all about releasing. So we're doing some exercises, for example, think a labyrinth walk to help us with that. And the second day is all about receiving. So we're going to do a ceremony, a fire ceremony, to help us to release that grief symbolically, and just to welcome the new blessings, the new things that our, you know, life has to bring for us. I will leave the link of the workshop below and hope to see you there. If you have any questions about the workshop or this video, feel free to leave any comments below. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.